Hello and welcome to what's essentially part 2 of our Night Road review, and it's going to cover the adjustments we made to try to dial them in and see what kind of shape we ended up in. If you haven't seen the original review, you might want to go check that out first because it has the full details in it and context for this one, but if you're good with a quick setup and then a recap, we'll keep going. Both of our Night Roads out of the box were wonky, which is what we'll look at first here to bring you up to speed. Angels was okay. It wasn't great, but was by no means bad, just exceptionally average. And mine was mostly rough. It took a few games of transition for it to start moving much at all, and even when it did, it was pretty allergic to oil, so it was very inconsistent. Plus, I tried adding some surface, and that didn't really change anything. However, there are plenty of people out there that they're amazing for, so after going through some troubleshooting, talking it through, I left everyone at the end of the first review kind of undecided. No idea why they're so slow and lazy for some, and the new godball for others, so I said to check out some other reviews, find a matchmaker event to throw one at, talk to some people in your area, and that we'd be back for more videos after making some adjustments to see if we could find a solution. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I can't stand the 2 games and done crowd where they buy a ball that they want, whether it's a good choice or not, throw it out of the box on whatever condition the lanes are in that day, and decide after 2 games that it sucks or it doesn't match up with them or something, and throw it up on SRGBBFS while complaining about the price of equipment. I always preach that balls have a break-in period just like everything else. You've got to give them several games to get that factory edge off, so to speak, and figure out what you actually have. Sometimes it takes a few surface adjustments to dial them in too. Even before that, you have to decide if the ball is going to be a good choice for you to begin with, then you have to make sure you get the right layout on it. Bowling is unfortunately complicated, but that's where I try to fit in. I feel like instead of going straight to trying to simplify it, you have to first accept that it's complicated, learn as much as you can, then you can efficiently and effectively simplify it rather than just dumbing it down. In our reviews, we always bowl several games while filming to get the balls broken in, see how they act on the fresh, get some transition on the lanes to see how they handle that, and how they handle different angles and zones. Most of the time they're great out of the box. Wasn't the case for us in this instance, but as much as I preach working with stuff, I obviously can't just drop it at the review and move on, so here's what we did and what happened. Now, as you could see, Angels wasn't half bad. It was definitely a better experience for her than mine was for me. It wasn't great, it was a little inconsistent, but there were several shots in there that looked really good, so my first thoughts go to a surface adjustment, and that's what we're seeing now. I have my own Cook Sphere resurfacing machine, so I gave it a full surface reset and took it to a factory process 1500 grit polish, or close enough. I have Jayhawk Bowling Supply's Diamond Dust pads, which are extremely high quality and very durable. They give the ball a deep, high quality, and consistent surface. I don't have Step 2, and React to Gloss isn't out yet, so I use React to Shine to finish it. Factory process is 500, 1000, Step 2 compound for a 1500 grit polish ball, so that's what I did, of course with React to Shine instead of Step 2. While it didn't fundamentally change the reaction, it was already decent to begin with, it did really fine tune it. Angel's not big on surface to begin with. She rolls the ball enough, so she has no issues getting stuff to roll, read, or hook, and usually surface just makes stuff early and lazy, so that's what I think the issue was here. Her Idle Cosmos and Wolverine Dark Moss were kind of in the same boat out of the box too. They weren't as lazy as this one was, but remember I said it took her a game or two to get lined up with the Cosmos in that review before she got it figured out, and it lane shined a little, and the DM was kind of slow for her too at first. Now with the weakish core in the Night Road and the strength of the REX cover, the surface just isn't necessary for her. Shining this ball up seems to be the popular choice too, beyond just resetting the surface. Other staffers that I talked to who had kind of the same experience said that's what they did, and the results speak for themselves. Say what you will about 4K Fast 2, I like it on a lot of stuff. My 4K Fast Dark Code is one of the silliest looks I've ever had, but just like any other surface, it may not be right for you. There were a lot of people that complained about the factory polish too, and that's why I've been harping on it, especially lately, but just reset the surface out of the box. That way you know where it's where you want it, and you can repeat it. Box surface is like the Pirates Code, it's more like guidelines than actual rules. Now we'll take a look at what the resurface did for mine. I did the same thing as I did with Angels, full surface reset. I just didn't hit it as hard with the polish because that hard mirror gloss on this side of the lane isn't the play. I was expecting a difference from what it was out of the box based on what I saw from Angels and heard from others, but I wasn't prepared for this big of a difference. If you caught my last short, you saw a little preview, but it's significantly stronger and more dynamic than it was out of the box. Finding this big of a difference in a surface change or reset is rare but not unheard of, and obviously there's nothing wrong with the actual ball. I've had some show up a little chalky or shiny, and they've acted wonky too, but it's just surface. It constantly changes as you throw it, and you can change it to whatever you want. It also shows you the power of surface, or just exactly what it can do. I guarantee all of you watching that you have some ball that you haven't gotten along with or don't really like, and it's just a surface change away from finding a permanent home in your bag. This is a great example or illustration of what I'm talking about. We drill dozens of balls a year, and the vast majority look great out of the box, but this one wasn't having it for whatever reason, so we made the adjustment and we're back in business. It was also a very simple adjustment too, so the idea that most people in this situation would have just said it was garbage, dumped it and moved on doesn't compute for me. Bowling balls are expensive. I can't imagine taking a $100 hit or more getting rid of one because you don't want to make a surface change. And sure, I get it. Well, you don't have to pay for them, so what do you care? I care because I know that I don't want to pay $75 in gas, materials, and lineage to go film a video, plus the monthly payment on the drill press, then spend 10 hours of my life filming, writing, and editing a review in return for a couple of boat anchors. So believe me, I don't just run my mouth and yeet stuff into a dumpster if it's not a goat out of the box. I do my due diligence and share the experience with you so that you can do the same. At the end of the day, there's some you just won't match up with, but I'm okay with that if I've made the appropriate efforts. At the end of the first review, I said proceed with caution. Now I think I can safely adjust that to proceed with common sense. In the future, I'm going to slow my roll a little. This could have all been wrapped up inside the same review, but the time wasn't available for the separate trips and to get it all done. Plus, again, I'm not the staff or hype guy. Sure, the first part of the review wasn't flattering, but that's what the reality was, and I feel like it's better to show what's up and the process towards getting it figured out, rather than trying to work angles or fix something before the fact to hide or cover something up. That way, if you have a similar experience with this ball or any other ball, you know it's fixable and what to do instead of thinking you're stuck with a $200 air freshener. But wait, there's more. I also wanted to try another one with a different layout because the night has a lot stronger cover than the other high roads, and given my heavy use of the infinite and dark code, I wanted to do even a little more digging and testing, but that will be in another video, so keep an eye out for that. Big extra thanks to my Patreon and Discord communities. This is the first video edited on my new Uber rig. Thank you for watching, and may the strikes be with you.